talk about redistricting for Centennial High and Roswell High. Before he leaves, I want to introduce Jim Payne, who is a candidate for mayor of Alpharetta. Arthur Letchis is term limited. And I want to let you know that I've spoken with Arthur Letchis of Alpharetta and Joe Lockwood of Milton, and they share our sympathies, and by that I mean, as cities, we believe that the city boundaries should be one of the criteria that are considered in redistricting. There are a lot of other criteria to consider, but I thought that was a pretty basic principle that you should consider, not as a hard and fast line, but at least consider where the city lines are. I think it's important you've all come together. Anyone who has any experience in politics recognizes that as individuals, your voice is seldom, if ever, heard. But if you come together as a group with energy and passion, you can make a real difference. So I hope that this group can reach a consensus and make a difference in this redistricting process. And you begin by coming together, so that's the first step. I think my experience is, even as mayor, no one's listening to me on this redistricting issue. And I expect you individually had that same experience. But I think as a group, you might move the dial. I can't say that you'll achieve all that you hope to achieve, but you, as a group, you have a much better chance of being heard. Some preliminaries. We did invite, I've spoken with Linda Schultz and Katie Reeves. I invited both of them. There are school board members. They said that it would not be appropriate for them to come to this meeting if they didn't come to some other meeting, so they declined the opportunity to come tonight. I invited them to send some school board staff members if any questions came up, and they also said that was inappropriate. They have a procedure to follow, and they thought it was inappropriate for Fulton County School Board staff members here to come to answer questions. But I do want to encourage everybody who came here tonight to attend tomorrow's meeting at Alpharetta High School at 7 o'clock, in which redistricting will be discussed. That's where the decisions are really made. Unfortunately, neither I nor anyone in this room has the authority to make decisions for the school board. We're just really here to try to come together and be heard on what our interests are. We've got some, Linda Schultz did furnish me with some question and answer sheets that were available. And with that, I want to introduce Mike Knighton, who was a key player in organizing this. I'm going to sort of stand up here as a facilitator, moderator, and sergeant of arms if necessary. So, Mike Knight.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. As we get started tonight, first thing I'd like to do is acknowledge Mayor Wood and his help in putting this together. We came to him and said that we thought a forum to allow people to speak would be good, and he took it from there, and we're here this evening. So thank you very much, Mayor. I really wish that somebody from the school board had been able to be here. I actually sent them a formal invitation myself, got an email back, and there were a couple of things that I thought that I would speak about, just because I was a little annoyed at the time. One was the notice. And, insofar as we made it here tonight, a lot of us made it to Alpharetta, what was it, 3 weeks ago tomorrow night. I thought I'd let it slide. And then I thought maybe I'd talk about the process. And I realized that I hadn't said a word about the process yet, although somebody took me out of context and tried to make it sound as though I did. But I mentioned that I got the email from Mrs. Schultz, and it was gracious. And she included documents identifying the process and policy, and she referred me to the Fulton County website, and I went to it and started to read. And as I was reading, it struck me that when we're talking about redistricting, we're not really talking about roads. We're not really talking about buildings. We're talking about children. Got a friend over here, Ryan. Where are you? Would you raise your hand? This young man is Ryan McDonald. You may not know it to look at him, but he's a football player. He's also also a pretty good student. Made the honor roll last 2 years. How's Cal coming? Okay, so he's working on Cal. And I realized that this is who I'm talking about. This is what's in my mind, is Ryan McDonald. Olivia, where are you? Can you raise your hand? Olivia's back in the corner. She's a little embarrassed. This is our community. Olivia was on the Lady Hornet basketball team that lost in the quarterfinal round. When was it? Last night? The night before? They did a great job. That's who I'm talking about when I think of redistricting. Well, Linda Schultz, in her final email to me, included the documents, and I opened them up, and I read them. One was the policy, one was the process, and of course I had the agenda from 3 weeks ago. And I read them, and I read it a second time, and I realized that the word child was missing from any of these documents. The word children was mentioned one time, and it referenced special needs children. And it struck me then that all of our children should be cared for, some more than others, but we ought to acknowledge that our children are in the process, and they're the ones that are most important. And to the extent that there was no hint of that within this document, I became a little annoyed. There's going to be speakers tonight. We've got a very brief program. There will be, I hope you'll come up. And I want you to remember something. It's all about our children. And every question, every point that we make, maybe not every one, but most of them, can fall under that category. Keep it in a context, because that's the context that is missing. It's the context that Mayor Wood is talking about. It's the context that Councilman Payne mentioned. And I think it's really what's on all of our hearts as we get going tonight. I'm now going to hand the microphone over to Jane King.
Well, before we go, I've got Senator John Albers here. I don't know what his schedule is. The legislature's in session. He spent 14 hours a day, 18 hours a day down in the legislature, so I wanted to introduce him for an opportunity if he has to. John Albers.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Apologize for being a few minutes late. You may have been in traffic coming up from downtown and made my famous hole on your way up. This is a great meeting. It's important the community comes together. Mike mentioned something important. It's all about the kids. We have to work together. All levels of government here. We've got our city government, we've got our state government, we've got our school board, we've got our county government. We've got to come together and make sure that whatever is the outcome of redistricting, it makes sense for everybody. By your participation here tonight tells me that you're engaged, that you care about your community, that you care about your kids. Now what are we going to do with that? How do we bring that together and work through a solution that's going to work for our community and for our school? Each one of you today has made that leap, and I'm proud to have you amongst all those who are actively engaged in our community. Once we get past this issue, and we will, then stay engaged in your community. It's so important. I'm looking around and seeing people who sit on community boards, I'm in Rotary with, who are on city councils. Some of you are new to this process. This is a great place to get your appetite whet and begin the process of making a real positive influence in the community. Now, my older son is at Roswell High School, so I am directly impacted. I don't know where he'll go to school next year right now. My younger son's in Roswell North. We're real active on our school system, so we care just as much as you, and as a parent, I'm very concerned. But I also know that the way to do this is diplomatically. It's through meetings like this. It's getting out there and talking to your school board representatives, and I'm confident the solution will come down to something we can all live with.